Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to our first podcast of the year. We are here to talk about week 3. I'm Sam, of course, and with us we have Rob. How's it going, Rob?
It's going well, Sam. Good to hear from you, brother.
Good to hear, man. I'm telling you, did you miss football? I miss football.
I'm right now in the background. I have the NBA playoffs, and I'm fairly convinced that the NBA season will never, ever, ever, ever end.
Uh,
It just goes on and on and on.
yeah, and before we get started on the scores, let's talk about some stuff. IRs. You want to talk about some IR stuff?
Yeah, let's do some house cleaning here. Okay, so the IR adjusted yesterday. The idea we went over to change it to where we had 4 spots in available with 1 week. I don't love it. I think that's too many spots, and I don't like the designation with the questionable. But I can assure you we will not be playing by these rules next year. We will have an IR going forward, there's no question. But unfortunately, there's just too much up in the air right now. And the idea was, without making a complete mockery of the waiver wire and everything else, adding a few more spots and some availability. So you can move guys over there for a week at a time. And that is with a questionable designation, because you know how things go these days. It's also, if they are on the COVID list, as far as like if a game was to get canceled or whatnot, I have absolutely no idea how the NFL would designate that. I doubt very seriously they would move everybody over to the to the COVID list that week, and which means that, sorry, we're all playing by the same rules. Not much I can do. For this particular week, it looks like allegedly, and I really doubt this, but I don't think that game's going to happen this week. But allegedly, they're going to move the game to Monday, which will be no problem. I would assume if they moved it to Tuesday, it will be no problem, which means we will add it in. Our league week doesn't go to that far, but goes that far. But if they move it to, like, say, November, we're not coming back to give me those points. So plan accordingly. We're all in the same boat, and $100 entry fee this year just kind of keep things going, give us a diversion. Make sense?
Yep.
A couple other little things that have come through with the schedule. I get a lot of questions on this and just 5 or so. They're like, where's the schedule? In the schedule, I sent an Excel sheet out to everybody. I believe the issue here, the schedule, as you can see, if you go into your league info page, this week will show you this week, and everything is set. So the schedule is hard-coded in there. The problem is that the league really only supports 12 weeks and above leagues, so I had to select no schedule to be able to manipulate the 10-week season in there, and also to give us what I anticipate could be canceled weeks later on in the season and moved around and whatnot. So that's why you don't see that. So do look for your Excel sheet on that. That does exist, but that kind of answers that question. And and finally, I guess, before we really get going here, any payments that are put in, those get added into accounting. So Adrian, thank you very much. Todd, thank you very much. And everybody be like Adrian and Todd and pay and get your payments in. And once you do pay me via Venmo, thank you very much. That's what I prefer. Please don't send me checks. You will see it updated in the accounting page that runs all season long. And I guess with no further ado, we at some point here just have to go ahead and mention that Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL. Correct, Sam?
That was my first pick overall. Thank you very much.
Yeah. It was close there. Lamar
Wilson
got voted number 1, huh?
Yeah.
Number
Russell
1,
Wilson.
Lamar, and MVP, huh? So that's strange.
Thank you very much for explaining that. People, if you have questions, feel free to post them on our message board or on our league message board, or text the group, to get that through. Should we talk about standings? Should we talk about standings or playoffs?
No, we don't need to talk about standings.
Okay,
We're not going to talk about playoffs, but I do want to talk about one more thing.
Yeah.
I know everybody would expect that I have like a blueprint for how this season's going to go, and most years I do, but some of these things I'm a little in the dark on them myself, so we're letting it play out in real time. So trying to do what seems to make the most sense and going with it. So we're going to find out. So here we go. All right, Sam, let's move on.
All right, let's talk about our first matchup. You and I, Rob. I and you.
Oh, dear God.
Let's talk about that.
I
right
and
away.
you. Couple vowels, huh?
So,
Couple vowels.
Going into Monday night, I was down 30-something points, and you had
32.
Mark Ingram going. You had Mark Ingram going, and the kicker for Chiefs. Were you worried?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, that game obviously didn't play out the way it was supposed to, but it was, allegedly it kind of played out how I wanted it to play out. But, I thought with the 32-point lead, we had another game where Mark and Scott, we'll get to that one earlier, but they had a very similar score. But I actually had a couple players, and I went, if I kind of thought that if I could pull 20 out of those two guys, then I could probably hold on. As it turns out, Mahomes was worth, 61? Yeah, so there wasn't enough to go around there. It's that kind of game, hell, Sam. I mean, I put everything I had out there with you. I mean, I'm playing without my first two draft picks, man, and one quarterback, and I had the league going in. So, I mean, quarterbacks are going to reign supreme in warm weather months of September and October. I was worried. I mean, I was hoping to steal one. It didn't happen. That's 88 points out of your quarterbacks, and you had a nice day. I mean, you beat me pretty sound. The thing about that on your team that surprised me, 61 is always a remarkable performance, and 61 with four just really well. I mean, the one to the tackle was kind of just for fun, but the three other plays, were just pretty much stellar, amazing stuff, right? I was more surprised by the 24 that San Francisco put up, but then again, they were playing the Giants, and those New York teams are. Yeah, that's rough. So, yeah, good game, Sam. I mean, way to get off to a good start. And, losses are hard this year. We got 4 games out. It's not like can't really afford to go 0-3 to start the season. It's you're going to have to be sending the commissioner a Venmo check and moving on probably. So.
Yeah. Monster game from Tyler Lockett for you. I mean, Russell Wilson this year looks like a, MVP candidate also.
Yeah, absolutely. He looks great every year. I mean, hey, Gang Green's got depth, man. I mean, trust me, my goal was not to run Mark Ingram out there against you to flex up against Ben Roethlisberger, but that's how what else do I do with Daniel Jones? What I should have done is James Robinson, but what are you going to do? Yeah. I mean, I have a team that'll battle through, but, like I said, it's a tough loss. And McCaffrey sitting on IR and then the Julio Jones, not playing that game, that's a lot to overcome. And I mean, quite frankly, you can't put Daniel Jones out there. That's that was probably should have done something there. That was a bad no move by Gang Green. So anyway,
right. Let's go on to the next matchup: Bruins Maniac versus Brady for Rent. Bruin Maniacs 177 to 165. It's kind of a bad beat, 165, to lose. Man, that's tough. 57 points from Russell Wilson. Wow.
Well, I mean, let's break this down. This game doesn't take much. You get 100 points out of Russell Wilson and the Colts. And, I mean, my God, I downgraded the defense, and it's just like, I mean, how fucking bad are the Jets, dude? I mean, was that the Jets they were playing? I can't even remember now. I mean, how bad are these teams? I mean, 2 pick sixes, a fumble. This is all over by the Colts. And then, Russell Wilson, like you were mentioning, hell, he should have had more. Mm-hmm. He should have probably hit about the 75-point mark, but Metcalf kind of, I don't know. So everybody was saying, oh, that's like Leon Lett. I went, I don't know about that. I mean, he kind of let up a little bit. He wasn't really
showboating.
Yeah, he just the guy kind of caught him on that play, but that's an unfortunate play. It's nowhere near the insanity that was Deshaun Jackson, spiking the ball on the 4-yard line or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, Brady for it, he's propped up. He's propped up by Russell Wilson and the Colts in that game. At the same time, Schuster and Ridley and those guys kind of played down. Jacobs, I don't know. It's a good team, 165. It's a great score. Would have beat me, and hell, would have probably beat you, right? But it's no, not quite. Yeah, would have. Would have lost by 2. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. But anyway, let's talk about Bruin Maniacs. You want to talk about crappy quarterbacks, man. Let's look at, he feels pretty good about himself going in there with Drew Brees and Lamar Jackson. And Drew Brees and Lamar Jackson did not look good. Now, Drew Brees somehow, some way, this has to be a scoring malfunction here. Put up 37 because I don't understand how you can put up 37 points if you can't throw the ball more than 8-9 feet, at a time. So it was and Lamar, it's he's going to have better days, but obviously, dude, that guy. I mean, the problem with Lamar has been the problem with Lamar has been the problem with Lamar. He doesn't have any touch beyond really downfield at all. And
not accurate.
And he's not, and he sails stuff all the time. And I mean, his legs are remarkable. He's a great talent. And I mean, I really personally thought he could have gone number one overall, but it's that's just one game against the Chiefs. But he does have a history now of not winning games against good teams. So it is. He's young. Whatever. I'm not here to bash on Lamar. I mean, I'm a Mahomes guy, obviously. So there's a little bit of a well, we showed you there. But Derrick Henry, this team's solid here, man. But I mean, it's Henry playing this week. We'll see. I mean, he just kind of kicked ass. The Patriots rolled out there against the Raiders. This is all around. I mean, he's got names up and down that roster. That's a veteran player getting got his feet wet again last year, and now he's diving back into the pool full bore here. I mean, don't underestimate two-time champion Bruin Maniacs just because he went away for a few years, right?
Let's go on to our next matchup. The Bag or the Bat versus El Oso Verde. Hey, look, the Bag or the Bat got the same amount of points that I do, 167 this week. Gosh, look at his top three. Look at his top three, Rob. Jeez.
Yeah, let me tell you, I heard about his top three all day Sunday, all through Sunday night, and rolling around again to is there a chance on Monday. No one's a very passionate football fan. Let's just put it that way. Josh Allen, man. I mean, all hands on deck for Josh Allen. That's got to be the greatest face mask by a quarterback I've ever seen in the history of face mask by a quarterback, right? Dak Prescott, maddening. I mean, God, that guy goes from like being just amazing to the turnovers. It's the turnovers, Sam. I mean, it's the turnovers with that guy, right? Mm-hmm. And Alvin Kamara, I had him last year. I was like, why didn't he have one game like that last year? So, yeah, we're talking 134 points right off the bat. That's going to get it done most times. But thank God, because after that, I'm looking down in his bench to see if he's got anybody to throw in there. He's got Kareem Hunt hiding in there. Yeah. What are you going to do with that Kareem Hunt situation, man? That's an interesting one to watch. Him and Nick Chubb, man. It kind of makes them both. I mean, they're both great, right? Yeah. Hello, Silverde. Carson Wentz, we're going to point out, Carson Wentz, he's not very good, right? I mean, he's not very good. He should have thrown an interception later in that game. He threw an interception where he stared down a guy. I mean, it's just like he watched him, and he watched him, and he watched him, and he watched him, and this is only like a 10-yard pass, and he just throws it over there, and like the cornerback's like, yeah, okay, dude, you're going to be that dumb? I'm going to take it. And the only reason he get intercepted in overtime is because the pass was to nobody. I mean, how about that, though? The coach chose the punt instead of kicked a 63-yard field goal at the end to get the tie, man. That tells you what he thinks of Carson Wentz.
No, I think he's okay. He'll have good and bad games, I'm more interested in Minshew. What was up?
Oh God!
Can you explain that
terrible.
to me? Explain that to me, please.
He was babbling on about his hair and his mustache all week or something. He thought he was. I mean, no one's trying to make a play. He's thinking
Sure.
He's thinking he's going to go up against the Dolphins. Unfortunately, there's a quarterback on the other side, which was the du jour streaming option this week. And as I pointed out, now you got to keep in mind, no one's never had the joy like Gang Green and several of us players have of streaming quarterbacks. And the streaming quarterback, we'll just say, is an inexact science. There will be weeks where you look like a genius and weeks where you do not. So it's that was one where you do not, because Gardner Minshew really, really looked bad that night. So it was 5 points. So
yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, the points are spread out pretty good. Yeah, I mean, Aaron Jones, solid. Chris.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's, you're, like I said, I mean, also, if you go back through his short tenure in here, which he's got a championship in there, he's been in the playoffs. I mean, he's had some Patrick Mahomes a couple times. He's been pretty propped up by quarterbacks, and it's, which, is by design, if you hit on those guys. But when the draft doesn't fall to you that way and you move in that direction, playing without quarterbacks is it's a tricky venture, and one that, sometimes you don't overcome. It's a risk, and I mean, I think like Michael does it all the time. I do it constantly. I made one year where I took my 14th and 15th pick were quarterbacks. So it's like, I just, I mean, some years you hit on it, some years you don't, and it can be frustrating. I mean, you got to have one though, right? And in a week like this, I mean, Wentz was okay. It's just that, the problem is how are you going to have any confidence in running him out there going forward? You're not,
Yeah.
He's an interception waiting to happen at all times. So anyway, but hey, the back of the bat, again, grizzled veteran here, kind of like, we're saying about Bruin Maniacs. That was a top heavy performance, but, the top was heavy. So there you go.
Yes. Let's go on to our next matchup, the Autumn Wind versus Kells.
The Autumn Wind.
The Autumn Wind. You know what? He's a newcomer to our league, but every year he puts on a solid team. Seriously.
Yeah. No, I mean, this lineup, takes suck about there at 7 points, and you're going double digits up and down the board right there. I mean, that's how you kind of want it, right? You don't want to be sitting around like none of these guys really jump out. And you got a home run hitter with Deshaun Watson. Obviously, Dalvin Cook, if the Minnesota Vikings could bother to win a game here, and get hold the lead, is a massive player. I mean, Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, that's solid. Even though me, I'm not a big Zeke fan. I think he's very busy feeding himself. I do like Dalvin Cook quite a bit, though. I think he's a great player. I mean, Keenan Allen, that was kind of weird. That's always one of those I'd like to see how the NFL scored if he actually makes that lateral. DK Metcalf should have had more. I mean, this is a 200-point team. It's a solid team. Yeah. I mean, let's be real, Sam. We got a solid division to deal with here.
Yes.
So
I agree.
I mean, you jump right over to Kells, who came up on the short end of the stick this week, and it's mainly because Kyler Murray didn't have a great game. Because the Detroit Lions or the Arizona Cardinals kryptonite, I guess. It's maybe a little thin at wide receiver there. Darren Waller, he got taken out of the game, but it's tight end. CeeDee Lamb, rookies. Hilton, I mean, this guy's gone in from, can somebody find T.Y. Hilton out there? But then again, as Noah pointed out this week, it's the Colts offense was hardly on the field because, the other team was too busy just giving them the ball back. So it was what it was. So yeah, the Autumn Wind, I mean, we'll be talking about him quite a bit. The only thing I guess the concern there seems to be Adam Thielen's kind of playing down through 3 games so far. I mean, double digits, but, let's get nitpicky. I'd like to point out that nobody on his bench scored more than 3 points. So, yeah, I mean, good luck, once COVID sets in, bud.
Well, so he put out the max points out there possible then.
Yeah, he pretty much did. You got to feel good about when you only leave 10 points total on your bench. You're going, that's pretty fucking good, man. So that's pretty good, man.
Let's go over to the other conference. Sisted Twister. Gosh, I hate saying it. I mean, how the hell do you say that? Sisted Twister versus Big Revis. Woo, Big Revis, welcome back. 211 points.
I'd like to point out that that was a hold name for Scott, which he just, being the unimaginative soul he is, he just stuck with it, right? So, yeah. Mr. Mark Revis, welcome back. Welcome back. I think he told me something about wanting to have a puncher's chance. And, you're going to have that with Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson sitting at the top of your roster there. But, I mean, Alvin Kamara, that's he's got some players out there. He's another one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had some fun. I kind of forgot to invite Mark to the league actually on Sunday. So, he was in the league, but I forgot to send him the invite to where he could actually do anything. So apparently when he logged in, Sunday morning, way to be right on top of it, Mark, to make sure everything works right off the bat. Apparently he could have manipulated Autumn Wind's team all over the place, but, it's which is kind of funny, but he didn't. So we got him set up and going and everything. Yeah, that's it's kind of funny too. You look at that starter total versus potential total. I always forget about that, but he's got an efficiency rating of 97.7, and I'd like to say that I heard all weekend long, by the losers on TV that run their mouths over football games, the analytics crowd likes those kind of things. So there you go, Sam. I would say that the analytics crowd really likes Big Revis. Now, Assistant Twister on the other side, that's a pretty good team there too. He just got Mahomes, man. I mean, coming in 184 points for Christ's sake. I mean, that's bad beat territory right off the bat, right?
Yep. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's going to get that bad beat worse than that. I don't know.
I don't know, Sam. Have you seen these defenses so far, man? I mean, the Atlanta Falcons haven't actually executed an official tackle yet this year. So I don't know. I can see somebody getting beat with about 280, if you just get the – I mean, the defense is just horrendous right now, especially the secondary. It's kind of tough, man. Now, as Scott, as I've been listening to him, he's going to point out that, COVID's really set in on his team. And somehow, some way, he's managed to find the potential to have every single player on his roster impact. He's even trying to play Drew Brees out there. He's like, oh, no, dude, I think he's got COVID, man. I got to put him on the IR for just, the suckiness designation. But 37. So I can tell you this was a complete freak of nature on the schedule here. But it's always kind of fun to see a Big Revis versus Assisted Twister or whatever weird manipulation of an 80s rock band name Scott's pulling out. And I'm pretty sure Mark kind of enjoyed that one. So Welcome back, brother.
Welcome back. Let's go to our next matchup. Savs versus Degenerate Bastard, 120 to 164.
I'm going to try to get down to this. And I remember this one being compelling for a few minutes.
Yeah. Jared Goff did really well.
Yeah, it's funny. I was sitting there looking at him on Sunday morning to pick him up and drop Daniel Jones, and then I made the huge mistake of actually reading a fantasy article, which every single time I do that, I go, dude, yes. I forgot that these guys are making like minimum wage for doing this shit, so it's I'm convinced that we got, and I won't say which four don't, but I'm pretty sure we got 12 guys in this league that could write the exact same article on ESPN that those hacks put out there on a week-to-week basis. So, Jared Goff, he doesn't throw the ball deep and blah, blah, blah. And they, 38 points. So there you go. Michael, great game. Right into the Goff Stafford. I'm pretty sure that the Degenerate Bastards owns Matthew Stafford every single year for at least a period of 4 weeks, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, is there a quarterback actually true with Stafford? I mean, doesn't like most of the league get to have a chance with Matthew Stafford? It's like the guy's there and they're like, he's playing the Bears. I got to get rid of him. He's hurt. We don't know what the mystery injury is this week. This game was Degenerate Bastards all the way. Kind of let it out there. Savs had an uncharacteristic low-scoring week 120. That's one of the lower ones we're running out there. He made the mistake of leaving James Robinson out on the bench too. So, and really, here's a game you're just expecting a hell of a lot more out of Lamar Jackson, and then he just, 97 yards ain't going to get it done, right? Mm-hmm. So, kind of an easy one there for Michael this week.
Yeah, not too bad. 164.
My assumption is Savs turns over the entire roster tomorrow morning. So.
That's a challenge. That sounds like a challenge.
No, it's not a challenge, man. It may be a fact.
All right, let's go to our next matchup: the Hart Foundation versus Straight LA. And again, Straight LA always have a tough team every single year, and then again, you just look at it now,
this league's been around 21 years now, and there's still only a handful of champions. Some of us with 3, some of us with 2, and then some of us, they're like Straight LA. I believe he's just got the 1, right?
Yes, 1, yes.
But he is a champion. And here you go. Look at this. This is quarterback heaven right here. 100 points on the head, 100 points, 187. Ho-hum, it doesn't get anything. Melvin Gordon, Sam, I don't know about your Broncos, man.
It's hard being a Broncos fan. Yes, it's hard being a Broncos fan.
Yeah, I guess maybe Peyton Manning will come back there because I think he'd actually be the most functional quarterback they'd have on the roster right now. So it's Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, he kind of rolled up. You got to love Evans, Metcalf, and Ridley right in there, and Kareem Hunt. That team's, he's got a good team.
Mm-hmm.
And Hart Foundation 134. Again, Kyler Murray's been really good this year. Did not play that great this week, and the T.Y. Hilton, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore. I'm just going to be straight with you. That's problematic. I mean, I know you got Julio Jones down there, and that kind of puts that out there. But it's you don't want to run those three wide receivers out there together ever again in the history of fantasy football. No matter if you're playing with kindergartners or you're playing with pros like you played in this league. So better things ahead for Mr. Hart Foundation. Straight LA teams even. I'm watching your Lakers right now. So there we go. All right.
All right, let's go to our final matchup. Mr. Wolfpack versus High Rollers. Wolfpack put up some good points.
Yeah, you say that that's like surprising.
No.
Like, oh, hey, look, Todd can still play fantasy football. I kind of share that sentiment. Tyler Lockett, 39 points, man. I'd like to point him out that I got him as my fifth wide receiver. Of course, I lost. Wolfpack won. So, he's again, it's a nice looking team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're sitting there, you're rolling it. I mean, Dalvin Cook's a hell of a player, and you kind of forget about him sometimes, right? And it's like, Minnesota team, I feel like, man, I can't figure it out, Here's again, coming in at 97.7% efficiency rating here. High Rollers, the Gardner Minshew love thing again. I mean, Gardner's one of those guys. I just keep waiting for him to get cut, so, or the Raiders pick him up, one of the two. It's not much to say about High Rollers, although he wasn't the low scorer, and he did get the New England Patriots, who, again, I mean, have you noticed, anybody else noticed that the New England Patriots are playing like 1952 style football right now? It's kind of compelling out there. It's like literally they're going to pull out the picket fence, which I understand is a basketball move, but don't put it past Belichick to try it out and succeed. Okay, so very interesting game there. I have nothing more to say on this game, Sam.
No,
Good for you, Todd.
Yeah.
I'm mad at Todd because he won my pool this week, split it with my wife, and then he sends me a Venmo transfer to pay for the rest of the season. I'm like, well, I'm just going to send you $70 right back here, dude. So it's like, what are you doing? So, Todd, good at fantasy, not good at math.
Awesome. Let's remind everybody again. What time are waivers tomorrow, Rob?
12 p.m. Unless COVID moves into our board and puts a virus in there, I don't know. Then it'll just be we'll all wait till the color turns to orange or something. So.
Yep. And where can they send the Venmo to, Rob?
To Rob Green.
Rob Green. One word. Rob Green.
No, it's not one word. They can. Oh. I think everybody's already signed into this thing. It's not a problem. Everybody's got it. So look, man, if Todd's in there and Scott's in there, we got it covered. Okay.
No, I'll do everybody a favor and I'll post the Venmo in the bulletin, in the forum.
Well, why don't you do me a favor and post that out there worldwide so that everybody can send me money, Sam? Right. I mean, we'll have this a big old party.
Rob, I'm not on social media. I'm not on social media at all. So I can't
I mean, get on there. I mean, I'll do better than the imitation crab this year, if you can do that for me. So
yeah, I'll make sure to post that. Everybody, thank you. Thank you for tuning in to our first podcast of the season. Good luck, everybody. Make sure you pay the commissioner and go pick up those waiver wires. For Rob, I'm Sam. Good luck, everybody, this week.
Sam, you're the man. Good luck, guys.